Bonjour, heroes. Welcome back to my stream of the Metal Gear Solid series. Today's a special day because we start off Metal Gear Solid 3 today. Um, what joy this brings me because this is not only my favorite in the series, it's probably my favorite game ever. And me and it have a slightly strange history. I'm going to jump in though. I can walk and talk a little bit. I'm getting a little bit better at walking and talking. Anybody who's tuned in to watch me play this game or these games, I really appreciate, and I apologize for any type of you know, ugly showmanship. Not showmanship. What's the word? It's not being as polished as I could be. I think the audio on my end is probably a little too loud. Alright, virtuous mission. Today's stream is going to be shorter. It's not going to be the full 4 hours. It's only going to be 2 hours. I'm going to try and end a little before, probably 10 minutes before 8 o'clock Eastern, of course. So I was kind of disappointed with the premise of Metal Gear Solid 3 because when I was young, I didn't really understand the ending of Metal Gear Solid 2. I'm gonna skip the intro because we're gonna see it in a little bit anyways. The ending to Metal Gear Solid 2 was supposed to be kind of scary and nebulous, but I wanted like a very literal answer to the question of who were the Patriots, where they are. This like most menus in the MGS is customizable. You can slow you can slow it down with R2, speed it up with R1. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Cool stuff. And when I figured out this was supposed to be some sort of prequel, I was kind of disappointed. I really wanted transferring own view, reverse, I think, third person view, reverse. I really wanted like an actual literal answer to who were the Patriots. And I didn't actually like seek this game out that much. I wanted to play it, but I was satisfied with playing it at some later time, so I wasn't begging my parents to buy it for me. But my brother actually went ahead and bought it for me, so I owe my brother a lot. He bought it for me, and the first time playing through this game.
After the end of World War II, the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
I was kind of lukewarm in the beginning because this game doesn't have the best beginning. I like it a lot now, but just a lot of cutscenes and quota conversations front loaded, and it's kind of misrepresentative of the game because the game has very little coded conversations, and all the cutscenes are like very high production value. The presentation of this game is about 100 times better than Metal Gear Solid 2. This game's presentation is balls to the wall awesome. You use triangle to zoom in now instead of R1 because R1's used for this Easter eggs. This is the first Metal Gear game to introduce the press the button to look in first person view during the cutscenes to find Easter eggs.
All right, you ready to go?
Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cav okay.
Good, we've got high visibility.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector. Put on your mask. Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
Approaching release point.
10 minutes to drop off.
Hey, are you deaf?
He said put out the cigar and put on your mask.
That's an example of the amount of like detail that goes into this game. Like that cigar is modeled way more than it really should be.
Pressurization complete.
Checking oxygen supply.
Small
6
things
minutes
like
to
that are
drop off.
modeled very
Opening
well,
rear
and you see
hatch.
them one time in the game and you never really see them again. This part's awesome. The daybreak part.
Sunrise.
External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius. 2 minutes to drop off. Stand up.
You'll be falling at 130 miles per hour. Try not to get frostbite from the wind chill.
1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear.
Activate bailout model.
This is one for the history books. The world's first halo jump.
10 seconds to drop off. Stand by.
I don't know why a cigar went
Status
into the
okay.
plane as
All
opposed to out of the
green.
plane.
Prepare for drop off.
But I don't really understand
5,
airplane physics
4,
anyways.
3, 2, 1.
Spread your wings
And fly. God be with you.
It's awesome. That looks awesome. Everything about the game looks awesome. It still does. Pretty good Hideo Kojima card.
Jack, I've got some important news.
Right. Exposition.
Head
Important
of the
stuff.
CIA has finally given us the green light for the virtuous mission.
Virtual mission.
No, the virtuous mission. The future of our
Did you
Fox
say
unit
a
depends on it.
nerd?
If it succeeds, we'll be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission. Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
You know, don't get cocky. This isn't a training op.
Right. So what exactly is this wonderful mission?
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles. His name is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. He's head of the OKB 754 Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top-secret weapon research facilities, and the East's foremost expert on weapons development.
Sokolov. Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same. On April the 12th, 1961, the Soviets achieved the first manned spaceflight in history.
The Earth was blue, but there was no God.
Well spoken. The rocket that carried Yuri Gagarin to orbit was the A-1, known as the Vostok rocket. Sokolov is said to be the man most responsible for the multi-engine cluster used in that rocket. After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story. So why do you want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Afraid?
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
Not exactly. One of his conditions was that his family was also to be taken safely to the west. We used a mole to get the family out first, and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards. I was the one who conducted the operation.
The security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West Berlin. It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The President demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from reaching Cuba. But the Soviets didn't back down, instead placing their armed forces on secondary alert. Soviet transport ships carrying missiles continued on course towards Cuba. US and Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war. Frantic negotiations were conducted through the UN's Emergency Security Council and unofficial channels to end the hair-trigger standoff. Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba. And so the world avoided a nuclear holocaust. But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the US agreed to remove its IRBMs from Turkey?
No. The Jupiter IRBMs deployed in Turkey were obsolete, and we were going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value whatsoever to either the US or the Russians. The Turkey deal was a ruse, a cover story that was fed to the other intelligence agencies around the world.
So what did the Russians really want?
Sokolov. They wanted us to return Sokolov.
You mean the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
What the hell was he working on?
At the time, we had no idea. We were running out of time. It was either give up Sokolov or risk full-scale nuclear war. In the end, we had no choice. President Kennedy gave in to Khrushchev's demand. The next day, I got Sokolov out of the hospital, handing him over to agents on the eastern side. Sokolov kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my sight. Then a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov?
Yes. He was taken back to the research facility and forced to continue working on the weapon in question under KGB supervision. What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
So what kind of weapon is it? Something to do with space rockets?
No, missiles.
Same technology.
I guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the Soviets have been conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba to get it back.
Is Sokolov still in the facility?
No. According to our intelligence, he's in Selino-Yarsk, a place in the mountains about 3 miles to the west that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
The Virgin Cliffs. Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon.
This map technology seems too advanced for
This mission would never have been possible
the time
if it
and
was
the
still
time
in
and
the
place.
research facility. This is our last chance. Sokolov must have known that too when he contacted us.
That's sort of irrelevant. Starting here, they really mess with the time frame and like the amount of technology available. Pay attention to the character model and how much craft is put into the character model, because like the clothes is like undulating and flapping with the wind, but it's very well rigged on the actual model, because like the belts and the hard stuff like the gloves, those aren't undulating. It's just like the cloth. Only the stuff is supposed to undulate is undulating.
Ensure the safety of Sokolov and bring him back to the west. If we don't get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking.
The clock is ticking. Yeah, I can't say enough about the craftsmanship in this game. Just seeing the that clothes wrinkle is awesome.
The process takes about 20 minutes. Once it's complete, the gunship's arm will latch onto the balloon and pull it up.
Snake eater.
Bada bum ba.
Take it easy.
Raiden is not Raiden. I said of Ronnie. I said Raiden. Ronnie's in the chat, and he's
Shock will be less
commenting.
than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat talent?
She's equipped with 2 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as 2 40mm machine guns.
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion of tanks.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes wrong,
Do I know what day it
You'll
is?
be eating dinner,
It is
breakfast,
Wednesday.
and all the rest of your meals in the jungle.
What did replaying these made you realize, huh, Ronnie? No David Hayter in the future of the games. I still feel okay about that. In fact, I feel kind of good about that. Not because I hate David Hayter, but because I like this pretty cool. I like the. I've said this before, but I like the idea of Metal Gear not having any sacred cows. And David Hayter for a while seemed like a sacred cow. Like, how could they make a snake without David Hayter? It can't be. And they said, fuck it. Let's just do it. Metal Gear has gone on long.
Do you copy? You're already in enemy territory, and somebody might be listening in. From here on out, we'll be using code names to refer to each other. Your code name for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
What, you don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
You've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training?
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant, but...
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major? What should I call you?
Let's see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom. This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen by the enemy.
Hey, change from Major
Leave
Zero to
no
Major
trace
Tom.
of your presence.
That's pretty cool.
Is that clear? This kind of infiltration is the Fox unit's speciality. In other words, weapons and equipment are procured on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Great. Now I see why you asked me if I like snakes. I suppose calling me Snake was your idea
Yep,
of a joke,
the
too.
third dimensional camera.
There's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Gotcha. Getting back to the subject, how exactly am I supposed to feed myself?
You've been issued a knife and a tranquilizer gun. Use them to hunt for food. You'll also find some medical supplies in your backpack.
Yeah, about the backpack. I lost it in a tree on the way down.
I see. Well, you better go back and get it then.
These videos
where
are
it is?
kind of choppy and framey
No problem.
in the
I can
AC
see it from
version.
here.
They were smooth in
It's
the
stuck on a
original
branch.
PS2. Except they were less
Climb a tree.
high
Stand
res,
in
I
front
think.
of a tree that's covered in ivy and press the action button. I'll be monitoring your progress over the radio. We can't risk violating Soviet airspace, but I'll be in the gunship. My frequency is 140.85. I'll give you a call if I need to talk to you. If you need to talk to me, use the send
Hunt
button.
and eat one of everything
Okay, Snake.
and collect
Get
all the
your backpack.
camels. That requires a guide. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna try and hunt and eat as much as I can. Whoa. Whoa. So this is the camera added for the Subsistence version. Click it in, gives you the classic camera. Let me get some mushrooms. Let me get some snakes. Knife snake. So these graphics with the grass was always really impressive to me because I was used to grass being like a flat texture. These are ha. Life, man. This game doesn't have rations like previous games because you have a stamina bar, and when the stamina bar is filled up enough, it starts recharging your health slowly. It's not like a Halo recharge health. More sure. But you have life essence for that work as rations worked in previous games. Kuching. Hey Ronnie, have you heard all Ground Zero's news?
I see you've retrieved your backpack, Snake. To equip a weapon, it's necessary to take it out of your backpack. In the survival viewer, choose Weapon from the backpack. Your available weapons will be displayed in a window in the upper left. From that list,
Oh, how do I
choose
feel
the
about
weapon you
CQC?
want
He's
to
asking in the
equip
chat.
and press the
Because she's
Enter button.
badass.
For other equipped items, just do the same thing from Item.
Got it.
When I
Use
play
the
MG4, I'll
survival
try and
viewer backpack.
do the
Yep, that's right.
codec conversation that try and
Survival is
do
fundamental to
the
this mission.
the codec
After
conversation
you've been
that
out in the field for a while, your stamina will start to drop.
like
If your stamina gets
explains
too
why
low,
Snake
it'll
wasn't
affect your
using
performance.
CQC and Metal Gear Solid 1
Won't
and
be able
2, you know,
to
the
shoot
wreck on it.
actively, for example.
It's a pretty
Your
funny
wounds won't
conversation.
heal as smoothly.
I mean, it's not meant to be funny, but it's kind of
Keep an
funny
eye
in
on your
retrospect.
stamina so you don't run out. To recover lost stamina, you can hunt for local
No, yeah,
flora
that's
and
what I was talking
fauna.
about. The length of
Use
Ground
either your
Zero, so the length of
tranquilizer
Ground
gun or
Zero is
your
supposed to be
knife
really
to hunt.
short.
My
But
only weapon is
they
a
say
Mark 22 hush puppy
mission
tranquilizer
that was
gun.
out.
That's right. It's been fitted with its own suppressor. However, the suppressor will deteriorate every time you fire. Once its durability reaches 0, the noise suppression effect will be gone. So don't get too trigger happy with it. The suppressor's
kinda cool,
durability
it,
is
like,
shown in the icon.
You gotta be
Any
pretty careful.
weapons and equipment beyond what you're carrying now, you'll have to find as you go.
I have to find my own weapons and equipment? Whose crazy idea was this anyway?
Solo covert actions are standard Fox operating procedure. You can't leave any traces of your presence. No weapons, equipment, footprints, sweat, or bodily waste. The same goes for bullets and cartridges, too. Your presence in enemy territory is already a violation of international conventions of warfare. There aren't supposed to be any American soldiers in Russia. It could spark an international incident. You can't let anyone see you. You can't let the enemy know you're there. This is a stealth mission. You're a ghost, Snake. in
Yeah,
every sense
lengths of
the
Metal
word.
Gear Solid games
There'll
have
be
never
no
been that
rescue if
long.
you're captured.
What
Military
has
US
mattered in the Metal Gear
government
games
will
is the
deny any
density of
involvement in
content,
the
the
event.
density of
Then I'll just have
the
to take care
story,
of
of
myself,
the
huh?
Easter eggs,
I'm
of
afraid
the
so.
items.
You've been given a
Like
fake death
like
bill
density
for that
is the
purpose.
magic word for
SIS
Metal
guidelines
Gear.
stipulate that soldiers on covert
It's like
ops like this
it's
one
relatively short,
issue a
but it
potassium
has more
cyanide
content than
capsule.
most games have,
Tape it to your
and more
body so
meaningful
you can take
content
it
than
when you
almost
need
any game have. That
How
I would
generous
argue.
of you.
Use it if you're taken prisoner by the enemy. It will send you into a state of false death for a short time.
Fooling them into thinking that I'm really dead. So, how do I come back to life?
Just take the revival pill.
You mean that thing they put in my tooth?
How do you mean the
before
jungle
mission?
looks bad in stream?
That's
Do you
the
mean like
one.
it looks framey?
Be
Is there
careful.
artifacting? I might have to raise the stream quality.
For too long, nothing will be able to bring you back. Remember that.
I'll keep it in mind.
Please
You
explain
said
how
this
the
was a
jungle looks
solo
like during the
mission,
stream.
right?
Right.
I guess that means I can't count on any reinforcements.
Correct. The mission rests entirely in your hands.
A real one-man army.
Relax. There's a support team ready to back you up over the radio.
Who?
I'll introduce them to you. This time, survival is of utmost importance. The first member of the support team will be in charge of monitoring your physical condition, acting as a medic, so to speak, as well as recording your mission data. She's a member of Fox as well, and she's here on the gunship with me.
She.
Hello,
Jeez.
Snake. I'm paramedic. Nice to meet you.
Paramedic.
As in a medic who comes in by parachute.
Aren't you going to tell me your real name?
Are you going to tell me yours, Mr. Snake?
My name, huh? It's John Doe.
And they call you Jack for short. You're a regular Captain Nemo.
A name means nothing on the battlefield. After a week, no one has a name. What's your name?
Jane Doe.
Very funny.
I wasn't joking, but I'll tell you my name only if you manage to make it back alive. My frequency is 145.73.
She's also in charge of recording your mission data. Whenever you want to save, send a message over the reserved save frequency, 140.96.
So saving lets me record my mission data.
That's right. It also records the state of your health.
Good to know.
There's one more person I want to introduce you to, Snake.
Huh?
Speaking of snakes, you remember the boss, don't you? A legendary soldier and your mentor. Actually, it was the boss that got the DCI's authorization in the first place. She's going to be serving as Fox's mission advisor.
Boss is?
She also helped me plan this mission. She and I were at SAS together.
Jack, is that you? How many years has it been?
Boss?
That's right. It's me. Talk to me. Let me hear your voice.
It's been 5 years, 72 days, and 18 hours.
You've lost weight.
You can tell just by the sound of my voice.
Of course I can. I know all about you.
Really? Well, I don't know anything about
The
you.
boss. The
What's that
boss.
supposed to mean?
The boss.
Why'd you disappear on me all of a sudden?
I was on a top secret mission. You didn't need me anymore.
But there were still so many things I wanted you to teach me.
No, I taught you everything you needed to know about fighting techniques. I taught you all I could. The rest you needed to learn on your own.
Techniques, sure. But what about how to think like a soldier?
How to think like a soldier? I can't teach you that. A soldier needs to be strong in spirit, body, and technique. And the only thing you can learn from someone else is technique. In fact, technique doesn't even matter. What's most important is spirit. Spirit and body are like two sides of a single coin. They're the same thing. I can't teach you how to think. You'll just have to figure it out for yourself. Listen to me, Jack. Just because soldiers are on the same side right now doesn't mean they always will be. Having personal feelings about your comrades is one of the worst sins you can commit. Politics determine who you face on the battlefield. And politics are a living thing. They change along with the times. Yesterday's good might be tomorrow's evil.
Is that why you abandoned me?
No, it had nothing to do with you. I already told you, Jack. I was on a top secret mission. A soldier has to follow whatever orders he's given. It's not his place to question why. But you're looking for a reason to fight. You're a natural-born fighter, but you're not quite a soldier. A soldier is a political tool, nothing more. That's doubly true if he's a career soldier. Right and wrong have no place in his mission. He has no enemies and no friends. Only the mission. You follow the orders you're given. That's what being a soldier is.
I do whatever I have to get the job done. I don't think about politics.
That's not the same thing. Sooner or later, your conscience is going to bother you. In the
Ronnie's
end,
being a white guy
you
in
have
the
to
chat.
choose whether you're going to live as a soldier or just another man with a gun. There's a saying in the Orient,
Loyalty to the end.
Do you know what it means?
Being patriotic.
It means devoting yourself to your country.
I follow the president and the top brass. I'm ready to die for them if necessary.
The president and the top brass won't be there forever. Once their terms are up, others will take their place.
I follow the will of the leader, no matter who's in charge.
People aren't the ones who dictate the missions.
Then who does?
The times. People's values change over
The
time.
times.
And so do the leaders of a country.
This is what I'm talking
So
about.
there's no such thing as an
About the
enemy
beginning
in
being flooded with
absolute
cuts
terms.
with codex.
The enemies we fight are only enemies in relative terms, constantly changing with the times.
This is very uncharacteristic for the rest of this game.
Loyalty to
This
the
is not
end,
representative for the rest of
there's
this
no
game.
point in believing in anything.
A pretty important
Even in
conversation.
those we love.
And that's the way a
talking about
soldier's
very
supposed
important
to
things
think.
to the game's
The
story and
only
the game's
thing we can
themes.
believe in with absolute certainty.
And
is the
typically this would be
mission.
in a in a
Alright,
full
but do me a
animation
favor.
cutscene,
What is it?
in a real time
Call me
cutscene,
Snake.
not in a codec scene.
Snake. Oh, right. Your code name
Typically.
is Snake. It suits you well.
But it's
That's right.
difficult
The
because
legendary unit
they're
that
over
the boss
radio.
put
I mean,
together
the boss
during
is standing
World War
next to him,
II
so
was
how
a
could they
snake.
make it a cutscene?
The Cobra unit, a group of heroes that brought the war to an end and saved the world. As long as you've got a legendary hero backing you up, you'll be fine. Isn't that right, Snake?
Yeah, I can't think of anyone
almost the
else
opposite
I'd
of
rather have
MGS2.
with me. Oh, and one more thing,
Where MG2
boss.
gets thicker with
Yes?
codecs as it
It's
goes.
good to hear your
This
voice
game gets a
again.
lot lighter codecs as it goes.
Same here. After all, who knows if either of us will make it out alive? Snake, you are always best at urban warfare and infiltrating buildings. But this is the jungle. Survival is going to be key.
Wink, wink.
Those CQC techniques I taught you
Wink,
are
wink.
sure
You're
to
used
come in
to
handy.
infiltrating buildings.
CQC. Close
Like in
quarters
MGS1 and
combat,
2.
huh? I've been in the Green Berets for the past few years. I'm probably pretty rusty.
Not to worry. I'll be here to help you remember. After all, this is your first actual survival mission. I'll be supporting you over the radio.
Where are you, boss? Next to the Major?
The boss is communicating with us by radio from aboard a Permit-class submarine in the Arctic Ocean.
My frequency is 141.80. Call me if you need my advice on battle techniques.
Gotcha.
Your mission is to retrieve Dr. Sokolov. Dr. Sokolov is being held in an abandoned factory located to the north of your current position. Avoid heavy combat and don't let anyone see you. Don't forget that this is a stealth mission.
Snake, try to remember some of the
Basics of
basics of
CQC.
CQC.
Yeah, CQC is super badass, and it's one of the coolest things about MGS. And it was introduced in like this game that a lot of people consider like the worst in the series because they're dumb.
Commencing virtuous mission. Now.
Oh yeah. Da, 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 da. All right, I'm gonna go capture a live snake if I didn't kill them all. I'm not going for perfect stealth. Well, I'm gonna try, but I'm not gonna quit if I get caught. I am gonna try and go for no kills. Yeah. Yeah. This game's roll is like deadly. It doesn't have the problems that Snake's roll had in MGS2, where he'd fuck up when he roll over ladders. There he is. I knew he was up here somewhere. I was waiting for him to grab onto that branch. Those kettle frog things, I forget what they call kettle some shit like that. They're the main method of getting the stuff camouflage in this game. Yeah. What do I have here? There's a thing right there. Don't bite me. Pretty sure there's supposed to be stuff there in the grass, but nice. Suppressor sinks. Yeah. It's a beehive. I don't want to do that. In this quicksand. But if you try view like a glitch, not really a glitch that I found. Maybe I just imagined this, or maybe they changed it for subsistence. But basically, once you're sinking in the quicksand, if you look in first person view to try and see underneath the quicksand, it stops you. So as long as you're holding in first person view, you never sink. But it might just be my imagination, because right there, I'm pretty sure I was about to say a hilarious start to this stream.
Major, I've spotted 2 enemy soldiers.
They're probably KGB troops sent to guard Sokolov.
AK-47s.
Oh yeah.
And grenades.
Does it mean pineapples? 5.56s and pineapples?
Snake, your presence in Soviet territory is already a violation of international law. You can't let the Kremlin find out that the CIA and the American government are involved. Contact with the enemy is strictly prohibited. Don't engage them in battle either. This is a stealth mission. Got that?
The Major is right. The point of this mission is to sneak through the jungle without being seen. The success of the mission depends on how well you use your camouflage. Change your camouflage by selecting Camouflage from the Survival Viewer. The Uniform option lets you pick your uniform, while the Face option lets you change your face paint. Choosing camouflage that blends in with your surroundings will help you conceal yourself more effectively. Also, don't forget that anything that moves will stand out in the jungle. If you just stand up and run around like an idiot, you're bound to be spotted. But if you crawl instead, you should be able to sneak by without being noticed. You can see how effective your camouflage is by looking at the Camo Index. The Camo Index shows how well your current camouflage blends in with the surrounding area. The higher the value, the harder you are to spot, and vice versa. The key is to make yourself one with nature. Keep that in mind as you go along, okay?
Who's that?
This is HQ. Acknowledge. Sending reinforcements.
HQ? HQ.
This is HQ.
Patrol here. We've lost sight of the intruder, going into high alert.
Acknowledged. The enemy is still nearby. Pursue an...
I'm gonna keep getting caught trying to throw the snake at this guy. Snake toss.
Speak. When you walk on moist soil, your footprints...
This is very hazardous.
Bastard.
Because if I push in the circle stick too hard, I kill him.
Walk on moist soil, your... Speak. Bastard.
Freeze.
This is a cool addition. You can free them on the floor. Alright, there we go. It's my fairy snake. Oh, there we go. It's my fairy snake. Come to Papa. Talking about, be careful, don't cut his throat, because this game has a really weird, delicate mechanic to hold circle. Whoops. I'm just gonna trank him and be safe. Shanks. No, I guess that's all the people in the environment. Well, I shouldn't. You know what? I shouldn't count on that. Yeah. There's a big massacre that happened over here. Bug juice! This is a pretty awesome log. You could shoot people to this log. Poof. Man, like, the stealth possibilities in these games are awesome. Secrets! You come from there later on. Hey, fruit. I'm pressing L1. I don't know if this game has... Let me eat a fruit. Carry mace you probably want to hang on to.
I want some more.
He likes it. I want some more. I think the kettle is up here somewhere. I feel like I got it from looking up here. I'm not sure though. Alright, let's go before these guys start waking up and they make fools of me. Again. Hey, grenade. Grenade! So this was supposedly the first game that Kojima tried to pass off to his underlings, and they fucked it up in some ridiculous way like they always do. He tried to make it like a non-Kojima game, just a Kojima Productions game. But because it was so drastically different, they didn't like... They dropped the ball with it or somehow or some way. Yeah. Oh, there it is. I couldn't see it. Bees. I'm covered in bees. Bees. Okay. I was wondering how you zoom in. I'll try to zoom in with circle. Zoom in with triangle. Alright, let me equip. I guess I'll just equip the AP sensor for no reason. I suck at this bridge, by the way. This bridge will whistle my ass repeatedly. I gotta hurry because all the soldiers are gonna come back. They're probably already coming back.
Major, I've reached the abandoned factory where Sokolov is supposedly being held. This place is a dump. I can't see Sokolov from here. The security is pretty tight. There are sentries posted around the perimeter. I wonder how many are inside.
Your objective, Sokolov, is inside the factory. They should be holding him in a room in the northeast section.
Northeast section. Got it.
Be careful. Your mission is to bring Sokolov back alive. He must not be exposed to any kind of danger. And do not approach Sokolov while in the alert phase.
Right.
Oh, and one more thing, Snake.
You mean there's more?
No, it's just that when you get to Sokolov, I want you to tell him something from me.
And that is?
Sorry for being so late.
Is that all?
Yes.
Understood.
Sokolov is a good stand-in for
approach to the
Otacon,
target.
says Ronnie. And so that he's a bumbling idiot. Is desperately wants people to like sympathize with him, but it's really hard to. Yeah, he's pretty good stand-in. The voice actor for Major Zero is very, very good. And it's a shame that he's only been used in one game, as far as I know. Maybe he'll have some voicing. Does AP sensor alert them? Vibrates when detecting life forms. Vibrates when detecting life forms equipped to use consumes battery power while used. All vibrations will be off when active. Let me not even bother with that because they might be able to hear the beeping.
Seeing things.
Dotua. I didn't know where the guy was. Hope I don't fall. Okay. I always fall when I caught on that thing. Oh, the picture nice. I'm gonna do. Alright. Yeah, I can't go this way because they're coming from there. Okay, I'll try and lose him on the other side of this building. Pro tip. Yes. Ah! I don't know if this place is god tier. The ladder in the building, so I can get an area shot of these guys. Building, so I can get an area shot of these guys. Barrels like this, you can roll them down and. Whoops, that's not what I wanted.
What's going on?
There's nothing here.
I'm not sure which one I hit with that. Pretty sure I hit that one. By the way,
Who's that?
just secure yourself when you get caught. That's the way out.
Did you hear something? Ah.
HQ.
This is HQ.
Patrol here. We've lost sight of the enemy. Commence alert formation.
Acknowledged. The enemy is still nearby.